Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast. The second episode in a row where I've had to shower and wear pants. Because in case you've been living under a rock, your prayers and your requests have been answered. Because we are now releasing full video episodes on our YouTube channel, Ringer Reality TV. So if you want to watch the full episode, which I'm sure you do, because apparently people don't like listening to podcasts anymore. They want to watch them. You can go to our YouTube channel and you can watch it in its entirety. So now that we're on video 100%, I'm trying to stick with the theme of having incredibly attractive people on the show, but unfortunately, Wes still has not returned my calls. Probably because he's worried that he would blend right into this very couch right here and disappear. So I brought in the next best thing, someone who's very familiar with Wes's body of work. A person who, even after all these years, is still wishing bad karma upon me. She's like barbed wire, thin, sharp, and felons have a very difficult time getting over her. Mrs. KellyAnne Judd. What happened? You can't do woo because you have no voice?
I just got back from my Bachelorette.
I was gonna say, where'd your voice go?
Canada took it.
Canada took it? So they wouldn't let you across the border with your voice.
You know, it was really weird. My sister went right by. They asked her one question. The next person went one question. He asked me like 6 questions in a row, you know, and I was like, hey, man, like, what's going on? Like, why am I getting more questions than everyone else? And he goes, you ever been in trouble with the law? It's like, no. And then I was like, I guess he probably will know. So I was like, I mean, a really long time ago.
Yeah.
3 different times.
He's like, what have you been doing, miss, in Canada? You been doing a little skiing?
In the summertime. Right. And so anyways, after I said a long time ago, he said, okay, come with me, and put me in this little gel area, like where people had to go and get all their stuff looked through. And I'm have my service dog Haven with me. Oh no. So, and I'm, you know, haggard.
Your bachelorette party.
Oh, I was tired. I got up at 3 a.m. to take that flight, but I was so stressed, could barely make the flight, and I didn't know if I was going to get arrested and my dog was even going to be, I was like, what would happen to Haven? Would he go into like the pound in Canada? He couldn't make it. Or would he get his fresh food?
Doggy prison.
My God. Can you imagine if I put my dog in a situation where they had to check his asshole?
Oh my God.
For drugs?
No, I could not.
I just couldn't believe that my past from 15 years ago, maybe 10, some of them, was coming back, you know, and
did a police dog search your dog? That's what I've always wondered. Like, if a dog sees a police dog like at the airport, is it like, oh shit, the cops?
I don't know. They didn't, but that's hilarious. Actually, the guy, they were so rude to me. I was like, I just want to know like why I'm here. It was very much like when I went to jail, like just very like.
You went to jail?
I've been to jail.
Whoa.
I'm from Texas, so like they throw you in jail for anything. Yeah.
So if you're from Texas, it's like going to jail is like getting your high school diploma.
Yeah,
it's like everybody does it.
Everyone's been to jail.
Yeah.
You literally stumbling, you go to jail. And I stumble. And so, yeah.
What'd you go to jail for?
The last time, the stumbling.
The last time?
My
You've been there multiple times?
In the back listening to
I
this
know.
right
You know
now.
what? You did. KellyAnne brought her mom today to the podcast. She's actually sitting in the back. So is she still a little worn out from the bachelorette party?
She did not come to the bachelorette.
She didn't go?
No.
I figured she would have worked. So you brought her in as like a little extra muscle just here for backup?
She came. So I got back yesterday and she came back. She came the same.
Aw, look at that. You went straight from the bachelorette party.
To my mom coming in town.
To your mom coming in and hanging out with me.
Yeah. I'm just so blessed. I have so many people I love in such a short period of time.
Aw, you love me? Then why the hell are you giving me such bad karma, KellyAnne? I thought we were past this.
Okay, well, that was actually editing.
Oh, yeah.
It was because I went back and forth.
Okay.
And they clipped, I'll give him a 1. And then at the end, I go, I'm going to give him a 3. I gave you a 3.
You did?
I gave you a 3 because I wanted to give Ryan a 5. And if
you could only give one person on a team.
No, but I was thinking if you and Ryan were up against each other at the end, you had a better chance of beating him. I want to give someone else an opportunity because you are so good at it. And so someone like Ryan, who I think has a harder time being a smaller guy and hasn't done that many.
I don't think it's his size. Because there are like smaller, wiry guys. I think what it is with Ryan is Ryan panics. Ryan spazzes out.
haven't seen that, but because I've only done 2. I mean, I don't know where this is going to be shown after episode 2.
Absolutely.
So I left so early. I didn't get to see him in this one. And then, the island, we didn't really do anything. But he hasn't done enough. I really think that, like, if you look how Cara was from the start to now, part of what made her so great now is practice and dedication, but practice. And so for someone like Ryan, who I just absolutely adore, I was like, I want to give him a higher chance of going. So you got 3. I said 1 and they just took it and goes.
I'm pretty sure though, don't feel bad, because I'm pretty sure that mindset that you were in is probably shared with, I'd say 90+% of all the other people in the house.
No, it was. We all talked, yeah.
I'm going to be shocked if I get 1 karma vote this season above 4.
Oh, above a 4? No.
No, not happening.
Honestly, if I was you, I do better when people don't like me.
I do too.
Yeah. When you guys are like rooting for me, I was like, I don't even know how to handle this.
Okay. And you know what? I've actually said this multiple times before. People are always like, dude, when are you going to like hang them up? When are you going to retire? I'm like, you know when I'm going to know it's over is when people start cheering for me in elimination.
Yeah.
Or when people start, rooting for me, to win, because then that means that people are no longer intimidated by me, and it's almost like, oh man, you can do it. Come on, you got this.
I love that. Yes, that's fair.
So yeah, I get that. I get that feeling. But no, I was actually truly rooting for you because I wanted you to win. It wasn't like I was like, oh my God, come on, KellyAnne, you can do this.
Yeah, but you want me to win because of Cara, because you like me?
A combination of both.
Yeah.
Mostly because, you know why? Because after the way that you rooted against me on the Challenge USA, I wanted to prove to you that I can forgive and forget.
You mean World Championship? You've been on so many shows, you don't even remember which one it was.
World Championship.
Yeah, I didn't root against you. I did.
Oh, you just turned the whole house against me.
No,
Yeah.
You turned the house against yourself. I just took the opportunity. No, the thing is about that is that I actually debated telling you which one was off, but I couldn't make an agreement with you in front of the whole house. I was gonna be like, Johnny, I'll tell you which one is wrong if you just say you'll have my back.
You were literally yelling to Jordan.
Yeah, because you couldn't come back after I had you go in.
Yeah.
But if I could have been like, we good?
Yeah.
Then I would have 100% thrown Jordan in, but I couldn't have because
I
couldn't make a deal while you're on the fucking field.
I thought we were good in the sand.
You didn't talk to me about it. You had Tori talk to me about it.
Can I be honest with you though? And this is like, I think there's only been 2 seasons where I was totally checked out.
You were sick.
World of Worlds 1, check the fuck out. And I think that's what ended up coming back to like bite me in the ass. I remember I had just started hosting my travel show. I was on the road for like 6 weeks. I had like a week off, went in the World of Worlds. I had 0 interest in socializing, and it was the worst season not to socialize because there were so many new people. There was this whole group of like, the UK people, and Wes just so happened to be in the room with all of them. This is when him and I were still beefing. So he basically had like this captive audience, all these followers that would do whatever he wanted. Yeah, what he wanted them to do. I had nobody. But it was like, I don't care. I don't want to socialize. I'm not in the mood to socialize. I don't have the energy to socialize. Globals was different because I am 100% convinced to this day that I had COVID for the first 2+ weeks
World
I was
champs.
there.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Global.
Global champs. Okay. World champs, global champs, potato.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was in bad shape. So, and I remember you were one of the ones that come to like, what's going on? Why aren't you talking? And I'm like, John A, same thing. And I'm like, guys, I'm not even talking to my own partner. Like Justine even came in and was like, why do you hate me? I'm like, Justine, I am dying. No,
and I know that that's literally where I was on this last one with the Vietnam 3 months straight, let's just say. I have felt incredibly checked out of that part of my life. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's forever. And I remember right before I went in against Cara, tearing up. This is fucking dramatic. This is ridiculous. But like, I'm like, once I'm on there, I'm going to fucking get it. I'm going to feel it and it's going to hit me. Yeah. And once I was out there, right before we went in, I started to tear up because I was like, oh my God, it's not clicking. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here.
Really?
I didn't. And I talked to Anissa. I was like, I'm freaking out because I'm afraid I'm not going to try.
What was it about what was it that, because I mean, there was a lot of things to not like about, the location, the house. What was it? Anything in particular?
I think there was some subconscious stuff going on with me, but it was just our first challenge was, I mean, they don't show it, but we get locked into this truck
container.
I mean,
they show the entrance.
coming out.
You're talking about the intro when we all bust out of the container.
We're so cool. No, they had us in this very hot, humid, no ventilation, 40 people plus a camera crew, and they lock it. And as soon as I hear it click, I'm claustrophobic. I went to like a whole mental trauma, psyche, losing my mind. And they come out and they're like, okay, I got up at 5 a.m. We had no idea we were doing anything that day. Shouldn't have, but my head just wasn't adjusted quite yet.
No one was.
And I think I had Giardia. Stomach was total mess. And they're like, all right, now you're going to compete against the strongest women that have ever been on the show, my team. You guys were kind of average men compared to the... So I'm like...
If I had $1 for every time a woman's called me average...
I'm like, okay,
I'd be rich.
You're nothing but average.
Oh, yes. Well, you gave me a 3, so that's actually above average. On a scale of 1 to 5?
It's right in the middle.
Then it went to, no, 2.5 would be in the middle.
There's 2 below, 2 above.
No,
anyways.
5, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you're right. That is in the middle. Wow. Never thought of that. All right, anyways.
So
you're on a team with beast women and average men.
Average men. And I thought, okay, so now I'm going to have to compete against these women and the other women's at some point. I know it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing's a goddamn, sorry, Lord, a freaking puzzle, a 3D puzzle. And they say, oh, CT hint, look at the shapes. Ours didn't have the shapes the same way. They can see theirs. I'm going in the light trying to see the shapes.
Yeah.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
And then I got the bigger canoe just by chance, right? Whatever they are, the circular boats.
The little miso bowls.
They don't even talk about it. Some are small, some are big. He's like, make sure you know. You can't even tell which one's bigger or smaller until you get up there.
Yeah.
I had the bigger one.
Another problem that's plagued my entire life. You really cannot tell if it's bigger or smaller until you get up there.
Yeah, has that been a problem for you? Golly.
For 42 years.
Gosh.
I had the same problem that you did, although in reverse. I felt I was happy to be on a team with average men.
I know.
And I'm looking at my females because you're only you really are, as good as your weakest player. And we were stacked from that regard. I was looking at the girls and I'm like, thank God I don't have to compete against them.
It's like, I don't know, like the challenge gods just love you.
Not really. You know what they do until it gets to the editing room and then they hate me.
No, because you're still coming back because people.
I don't know why, because every season you know what they do? I would rather be edited to look like a villain than edited to look incompetent. And I feel like they love to edit me to look incompetent, or they want to downplay.
When does that ever happen?
Every season. Okay, I will say on this one, when they showed, and this wasn't just me because I saw a lot of this last night, when they showed where everyone finished in line. Yeah, Laurel and Cara finished before me, but they made it look like I finished 30 out of 40.
Oh gosh, I couldn't even pay attention to all that stuff.
I know there was, and that was the other thing is I was just like, wait a minute.
They made it look like I was really close to Emily and I wasn't.
And then they edited out our slingshot battle. You remember that?
I know. Are they going to do the shit they should have shown?
They need to. They edited out my toast, which is probably the best toast. The greatest toast I've ever given. Okay, Rachel's was great.
You always give great toast.
Okay, but here was the difference. Is Rachel's was great. The point is, though, I felt like what I was saying was I tried to make a very inclusive toast. I wanted to talk about everyone that was there. And not just that, I wanted to talk about the people who were no longer, who aren't competing, but then who are no longer with us. And I gave a shout out to DM. I gave a shout out to Night. I thought it was
how many toasts can they show?
Well, I think they maybe should have done that's a
good idea.
They could have chopped it up and, they could have had us both.
I agree. But you know what would be really funny? Who was the person that did the last toast?
Nelson?
No, he wasn't there.
Josh.
Was it Josh?
Was it? Yeah, I think he started crying.
I was after. It was after. Well, it was after Rachel's toast with a guy.
Oh! You're talking about this season?
Yeah, for 40.
And we all booed him.
Who was that?
I think it was Josh, wasn't it?
I don't know, but I remember it being really bad, and I wish they would have shown that one.
Yeah.
Gosh, can't remember who it was. Sorry, Josh.
Well, I'm saying it right now for everyone listening. I will never do a toast again.
No.
I'm done. No, I'm done. Because KellyAnne,
You're retired from toasts?
I think the last 4 or 5 seasons that I've done, I've done the toast and it has not made air. Challenge USA didn't make air. They showed Josh's instead. Ride or Dies, they showed Nelson's. They've actually wrangled me out of bed. Producers are like, Bananas, we need you to come to the toast. And I'm like, dude, I'm tired. Like, no, you got to do it. I do it. They don't even show it. Last season I was on, they showed it in the trailer for the show, and then they didn't show it in the actual episode. So yes, I'm retiring from my toasts because they're not appreciated.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Let somebody else do it. You know, let somebody else take the toast. I will say this though. The toast did get me one thing. And that is that this podcast.
Really?
So Bill Simmons, who is my mentor, my podcast guru, he's actually the one that was like, Bananas, we want to do a challenge podcast. I want you to, host it. He was the first one that basically recognized the importance of my toasts in the show and basically to the success that I've had. And he's like, I think attribute your toast to your success on the show. And he actually had me do the toast he had a social media site called Grantland. And he actually had me do the toast for the 3-year anniversary of Grantland. So
that is cool.
Yeah.
Well, you're really good at that kind of stuff. I love when you do any kind of like hosting stuff for us. And Mark is also wonderful at hosting, but I always think like when you do it, I'm just like, you make the jokes in the right ways. Thank you. I'm always really,
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I have a lot of admiration for you.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
We've come a long way since the island, the ruins, bloodlines. I think those are the 3 that because Rivals 3,
We were fine in Bloodlines, Lovey. We worked together. I didn't work with you. I was going to throw you in. My cousin was working with you, so I didn't get a chance to throw you in. But you thought we were fine.
We worked. Dude, what do you mean? We were fine on. I was going to throw you in, but you were working with my cousin.
You were working with my cousin, so I had to like.
I was. I loved that.
That's why Cara threw me in, because of you.
It was because of me?
Yeah, well, because she wanted to put you in, and her thing was, she was like, you're not going to work with Johnny, right? And I'm like, Anthony's really working with you. And I was like, well, my cousin is, but no, I'd rather put in Johnny because obviously I can beat you in a final, but I can't beat him.
That's actually not true because she beat me in a puzzle that season.
Again, we all have our times where we do great. Yeah. But in my head, I was like, who has the better chance of beating me in a final? Johnny and his amazing cousin, or Cara and her cousin. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, obviously, Cara, I feel I can beat you in a lot of stuff. So I'm going to keep you here. And why did I give her my whole game plan?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I think I have actual mental health issues or something. I'm waiting for a doctor to let me know. I say things where I'm like, why did that come out of my mouth?
Do you have an internal monologue that you're like, that should have stayed internal?
It should have stayed. And it's always just
yeah.
All the time. I do it to Max's family. It's like people you don't want to do it to. I did it to the judge the other day.
The judge in Canada?
No, the court at the...
You were in court for something else?
Oh, just a ticket, like a speeding ticket.
Oh, gotcha,
I love to speed.
Okay.
And so, but I made him laugh.
Good.
I made all the cops and then laugh.
I believe it.
It was like, yes.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't get out of your ticket.
Still had to pay it.
Because most of the time, that's the one thing one of the times that there's multiple times, but one of the times I wish I was a female in life is when I get pulled over.
No, I've only ever got out of one ticket my entire life. And it was because I told him I had diarrhea. And I said I was going to shit my pants.
That is a great, you know what? Because how can you prove that that's not true?
He followed me to my exit. Because it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I had a friend's house down the street. And I go, I'm taking this exit because I'm about to put my pants.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I know how that is.
Let me give you a police escort.
So I will follow you there.
He wanted to make sure that you
and
actually had to poop your pants. Did you run in like holding
pretended,
your butt?
Yeah. And I was like, I got to hang out in here for a minute. And that was the only time. I dated a cop. Oh, he was awful. For a minute. And years back, and he told me that in Texas, he was a Texas cop, and he said, I actually like to get pretty girls tickets because they think they're going to get out of them.
Oh.
Yeah. But then I have a lot of pretty friends who've never gotten a ticket, so it might just be that I'm not that cute.
I've only gotten out of one ticket in my life, and it was actually because I don't ever name drop. The one time I did name drop, I was going to Mammoth Mountain. We were driving through Bishop. It's just desolate road. I'm going 100 miles an hour. The CHP pulls me over. Young guy pulls me over, asks for my license, goes back to his car, and my buddy in the car is like, dude, why don't you just see if he knows who you are? I was like, all right. So he walks back up, and I'm like, hey man, I never do this. I was like, but I'm Johnny Bananas. I'm on the challenge stuff. He goes, dude, I knew I recognized you. He goes, I didn't know where from. And he looks at my ID. He goes, it is you. He goes, you should have told me before I went back to my car because I've already written the ticket. He goes, I'd have to call my desk sergeant to get permission to tear it up. Calls his desk sergeant. He goes, hey, I'm here with Johnny Bananas. You know, he's like, hell yeah. He goes, tear up his ticket. So.
Wow.
The only time that's happened.
That's insane. That's a risky one too. I'd be
that
so
is a risky
scared.
one. I know.
I was scared to go to the front of the line at the Bachelorette because I didn't want to wait in line. My friend's like, go to the front of the line. I was like, I don't want to get rejected. My ego can't handle getting rejected.
Yeah, I know.
And then my friend who was like 10 years older than me was like, I'll do it. And she walks up and goes, we're here. And he goes, go on in.
Yeah.
And then I got like 4 guys in with me afterwards. I was like, come on with us. You know, I couldn't believe it though. My ego just couldn't handle it. I was I can't.
I'm the same way. It's the fear of rejection.
So sad.
So going back to some of the seasons we did before this season, because we did. I mean, you and I, obviously, we had difference of opinions back in the day. Did most of that just stem from our mutual disdain for Wes Bergman?
Yeah, because that was where mine came from. No, it was my disdain for you.
So what I love about you is this is why I love this is you and Laurel are like this in the same regard, no filter, and you just say it. You're like, you know what? I don't care if it hurts your feelings. I'm going to tell you the truth. I
really actually enjoyed the time I got to listen to Laurel.
Yeah.
I don't know how we really get along in life. I don't know her that well, but in the short period I got to hang out with her. I just like
this was your first season with her?
Yeah.
Your interactions, the two of your interactions were one of my favorite things to watch. That's why I was also one of the reasons I was bummed you went home so early, because like you guys are two sides of the same coin. And you wanted to burn sage and she hated the smell of sage. And I'm like, all right, this is gonna.
But luckily I had Emily beside me and we were kind of like
sage sisters.
Yeah. And she, Laurel, I'm burning it and she goes and was like laying beside me and she's like, ugh, what's that smell?
I know.
And I go, does it make you want to leave the room? Because it's to remove evil. and she goes, yeah, I'm leaving right now. And I go, works fast.
Oh, damn.
And then Anissa walked in and I was like, wow, that shit does. Because it wasn't sage, it was Palo Santo.
Oh, Palo Santo.
Palo Santo.
Yes.
And so it actually brings good energy in. So she left. And then Anissa goes in and comes in and goes, what's that smell?
Is that why Paulie burst into flames when you lit it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Just his dick.
Yeah. Now it makes sense. Now it all makes sense. But no, it's funny because like, yeah, obviously we had our hiccups, if you want to call them that, early on in our challenge career. But you are one to hold on to a grudge. Because even after I felt like things were cool and we'd like hung out outside and you dissed me on New Year's years ago.
I didn't.
Like I figured if anything, like, all right, we're even now. Like KellyAnne cock-blocked me on New Year's.
Yeah. Well, that girl was crap. She didn't deserve you. She didn't deserve you.
Which also happens to be the same appearance. This is years ago. It was like probably 2008, 9, 10. I don't know.
Yeah. Something like 9, 8.
Devin Simone.
Yeah.
Picked us up from the airport. She still tells this story to this day. I took a bite of her ice cream after she picked us up. She worked at the bar and she's like, how do I get on the Real World? And
I remember that.
That's what you do. And then lo and behold, she's on the Real World.
Yeah. Yeah, she says it was because of us. I don't know. I think it's a lot of credit, but that's very nice of her.
I'll tell you what else is because of KellyAnne. I might have had a girlfriend or married at this point, and
that girl was awful. Yeah, you might have married her.
KellyAnne does this thing that like, and I'm going to tell you right now from a guy's perspective, it's the worst thing you can do.
No.
Yes, it is. I get it. Okay, you were trying to protect me, but
no, I just didn't like her because she was talking shit to me.
So what KellyAnne did was, it was New Year's. I'm like 20s, whatever. We're at this bar appearance. There's this girl in like this, sparkly dress. It's hanging out. And KellyAnne basically boxed her out the entire night. Boxes her out. Like doesn't even let her come close to me. And I'm thinking, but KellyAnne at the same time is making it out like, oh yeah, don't go home with her. We're staying at the same hotel. We'll go home together.
I never know. That was all
you insinuated.
The thing is, men make up stories that happen that didn't happen in their head. You had a whole story in your head that was never said.
It wasn't said. It was insinuated though.
To you.
It was insinuated.
That's how you felt.
So I'm like, all right, you know what? This actually makes more sense. We're staying at the same hotel, whatever. And then we get back.
Convenience, yeah.
And then we get back and KellyAnne's like, all right, good night. I'm like, dude, I just left this girl that apparently you hate.
I didn't hate her, but she was very rude. Honestly, she watched the show that I was on, The Real World. She didn't like a scene. Honestly, it wasn't a great scene. And then she brought it up to me in a very rude way. And
that was it.
That was it for me.
Of all the mean things you've done to me over the years,
yes, how about holding grudges?
I think that was the meanest.
That was like, what, almost 20 years ago?
Yep. I think that was the meanest thing you've ever done to me.
That girl, I don't even know what she looks like. Do you?
No, I don't. I just remember, I thought she was hot.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she wasn't ugly.
Yeah. Well.
But anyway, so yeah, I don't think I've held a grudge.
What do you mean? You just turned the entire house against me on
that was for
Challenge
my game.
USA.
I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
I would have turned the game on somebody else, but I didn't have the numbers.
You just threw negative karma on me.
I didn't. I gave you 3. They edited.
What else?
Nothing else.
I will say this.
You put my name in every time.
No, I don't.
My name comes out of your mouth.
I did not. On Globals, I did not put your name. Did I?
Oh, yes, yeah, honey.
But that's because that wasn't me. That was just the way the house was going.
And then the very next one, you go, all right, guys, once someone's name's said, we all know we're just going to go ahead and say the name again. You were literally pushing them to continue to say my name on the one. No, I adore you, but don't fill your own head up with smoke.
All right. Well, listen, I will say, okay, maybe that's true. But I will say the nicest thing you've ever done to me, for me, is turn me on to, and we're not going to say the name because we can't have our secret kitten out, the greatest laundry detergent known to man and woman kind.
Yes. You, me, and my little sister are the only ones who know about it.
This season, KellyAnne comes on and like we're all rooming together. And every time she'd walk by, I am like, what is that intoxicating aroma?
For years, you say it to me. For years.
No, and you're like, it's nothing. I'm not wearing anything. And then you're finally like, it's my laundry detergent. And then she actually, I thought you were sending me a wedding invite because when I got back from the show, you're like, what's your address? I thought you were sending me an invite. And I got this lovely little bottle of detergent in the mail and my life hasn't been the same since.
Yeah. Well, and I said, if you want to invite, let me know. And you didn't respond. So I was like, okay.
What? Yes, I did. What do you mean?
Check your text messages.
Okay.
It was because you were so into it and I wanted to give you a little gift.
Yeah, well, you're so sweet. All right, so listen, even though we've had our ups and downs in the past, we're good now.
I love you. I've loved you for many years.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Well, I've loved you for many years, too.
Remember how long we partied at Dan's wedding?
Yes, I do.
Me, you, and Isaac.
Yes, we ended up at like One Oak or something like that.
It was like 6 a.m. finally. We were in our room and you were like, I guess we should go.
We were trying to avoid Camilla. Oh my God, that's right. Wasn't that? No, that was Chicago.
No, that was New York. New York is
okay. Well, we partied again in Chicago where we were up till sunrise.
That. Chicago.
Yes, it was after that fan event we did in Chicago.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah, we worked out. We did like a whole workout thing before, and then we were just up until sunrise.
Damn, was Brass supposed to hang out with us, but then he bailed and hung out with his girlfriend Brittany?
Probably.
That was a different time.
I don't know. It all blends together.
It really does.
We've had a wacky past, dude. Like a lot of people don't realize, like especially back in the day after we got off the Real World, how crazy.
Oh, it was wonderful.
The scene was.
That was wonderful. So much fun.
Bar appearances.
We had,
20 days in a row.
We lived such a life.
Unbroken. 6 weeks of spring break.
This isn't cute, but I would do sorry, Mom. The bar, we would be there. I'd do chugging competitions, right? Uh-huh. All day long. So the way that I could continue to do that, other than having a great ability to hold my liquor at the time, was I would go make myself vomit and come back on stage.
Yeah.
Do it. Win. I won every single time except for one time. And that guy, I hope he's not dead. He drank a whole bottle of heavy liquor. We were doing beer. Boy. He was doing liquor. Ugh. But every other competition, every day, every one, I had won chugging competition. But the way I would do it is I would vomit and then go back on stage.
There's a term for that. It's like
bulimia.
No, maybe.
But alcoholic bulimia is okay.
It's alcoholic bulimia. No, it's like you barf and keep pouring. I forget. There's a name for it.
Smart.
Yeah, there's like you barf and party. I don't know. But
barf and parties.
There's something. No, there is a term for that where it's like I don't know. Whoever.
I imagine I must have brushed my teeth because
somebody tell me what it is at some point because I know someone's gonna know it. One of you college idiots is gonna know.
We don't party like that anymore.
We don't party. We can't party like that anymore.
It would literally put me out. I went bungee jumping after. So Sunday on my Bachelorette, I went bungee jumping with my sister, and it was like 5 p.m. They're like a sunset type bungee jump, and they're like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "Oh man, I'm hungover," and they're like, this late in the day? And I just thought that's the weirdest thing to say. What do you mean this late in the day? I'll be hungover for 3 days.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's 5 p.m., not 5 days later?
Hangovers hit so much harder than they used to. And not just hangovers, but just like the
sadness.
Yes, the sadness. But I'm just talking about in the house especially. Like everything takes longer now to heal.
Yeah, inflamed.
Your
I
liver,
get inflamed.
your body, your mind, your soul. That's why like I see like the younger kids coming on now and I'm like, damn, dude.
I wake up feeling hungover and I didn't even drink.
I know. Yeah, I wake up feeling hungover and I did drink.
Oh, well, that's better.
But it used to not be like that. The worst place to wake up hungover is a bus stop, a jail cell,
oh God,
and the challenge. And not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, I don't know about bus stops never happened, but the other two.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That won't be an issue anymore because now you're going to have this lovely gentleman.
Because once you're married, you don't drink anymore.
Not like that. Maybe. I don't know what your guys' relationship's all about. But.
Party pretty good.
Yeah.
You should go to the wedding.
I'm going. When is it?
So next month. It's
where?
Carmel.
Here. Yeah, Carmel up in Northern California. Yeah. September what?
14th.
Dude, I might actually be in town then.
You
know
should
why?
convince Aviv to come.
Because I'm going to the Chargers opening day on the 8th.
I'm a Chargers fan.
Well, you want to go to the game?
Well, I'll be at the wedding.
On the 8th?
I'll be doing stuff from the 8th, 9th, 10th on.
Oh, okay.
But that sounds like so much fun.
You have a box and stuff.
Oh.
All right. This is so not challenge talk. But it's fine.
Sorry, yeah.
All right. So, Era season 40. Who would have thought? How did you feel? You've already said that the team had very strong women and average men. But how did you feel about our team as a whole? Were you stoked? Were you like, oh my God, this is
Before I
gonna
learned
be...
the rules or after? Because I told you, as soon as I heard what was happening, I was checked out between the puzzle, the container, and the late night that we had was literally, I was up from 5 a.m. till 4 a.m. the night. That was almost 23 hours. I was so checked out. I didn't become unchecked out until I was untying the knots. So tying the knots, I was barely tying those.
I know. We're yelling down to you. I'm like, what are you doing?
It was honestly too, it was knotted before I could even get through it. And I was just irritated. I didn't want to be there. I'm sitting here tying knots. It's not really getting my head in the game, tying knots.
Okay, but to be fair, wouldn't you have rather done that than like Hull Brawl?
Hull Brawl, I wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But I will say, I really wanted was the wrestling.
Pole wrestle.
Because I could do this shit.
Yeah, you can. That's what, and you know what? That is what, and I've seen people win pole wrestle in the past. Amber did it against Nerys. And it was like they were so damn bendy. They were putting themselves in these contorted positions that no one else could, and I could see that.
Well, same with Kiki on the World Championship. Remember that? Everyone was like, I don't think Kiki's going to win. I was like, Kiki's going to win.
I wasn't.
You were there. Kiki.
Oh, Kiki Morris.
The best.
Australian Kiki.
Dude, that girl.
Was I still there then?
It was the first one.
Oh.
It was the two girls. It was the very first one. She went against a girl in Argentina.
Okay.
And that was a pretty muscly woman.
I remember Claudia.
Yes, Claudia.
Claudia.
She's wonderful. I love all those people.
The Argentinians were great.
Yes. Well, and so was Kiki.
I mean, Rodri and Benha, I don't think were cut out for the challenge. Way too nice of guys.
I would love if a challenge was like that with them.
Really?
With people like that.
Yeah, just super nice.
But did you watch the Argentina one? They were like, I think I'll do good on the challenge because I have a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And I'm a very good person. And I was like, no, you'd be good if I was on that show with me, but not with these assholes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the show I need to be on. I need to go to Argentina.
Be on the nice cast.
I need to be on the nice cast.
With a little more like well-adjusted people, not the psychos.
People who can handle brutal honesty, but also be nice.
Yeah. There's not many of those. Yeah. All right. So our era, I kind of felt the same way, but different. Once I found out the rules,
well, of course,
at first I was like, I hope I have to go against the guys on my era.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
I mean, Nehemiah is a great competitor.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're seeing Derek, that's great, but we never really got to see that before. Mm-hmm. Again, if you don't do enough of these, you don't get this. You don't have the same.
Yeah.
So Derek still has that disadvantage that he hasn't done that many of them.
I'm not saying the guys on my team weren't capable.
Right.
I'm just looking around at the other eras, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think you could have beat Tony. I mean, in certain things, Tony could whip you because he's so strong.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I think you're more rounded.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of that. You're right.
I am a little rounded these days, but that's just because I got to get my diet back.
I'll help you.
Back on lock.
A little more well-rounded, I think, than most men in the entire house.
Thank you.
Yes. But in our house, in our particular room, yeah, you were clearly, you had the best choices.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Brandon, people say he's good. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
He hasn't shown that ability to me.
Yeah.
And I will say, I'm saying this now because I'm pretty sure he said, oh, we can be without KellyAnne on our team. So fuck Brandon.
Ooh, hot takes.
You want to sit here and talk to my friend, and then you get an opportunity to have one chance to be seen on TV, and you want to say, oh yeah, we can do without KellyAnne and Ryan. Well, I'm pretty sure they did just fine without you, Brandon.
I disagree with that sentiment. I did not want to lose you.
Thank you.
And that is why, I was obviously upset at the way that the Challenge Invitational went down. I mean, I think you're right. I think it all started in that container that they stuffed us in.
It was so terrible.
Because they don't show how miserable that was.
So
but yeah, we got stuck in a shipping container. Now, mind you, it's in Vietnam, even though it's nighttime. It's still 90 degrees.
It was horrible. I mean, have you ever seen me freak out like that? Have you ever? Yeah, I don't.
No. Yeah, KellyAnne had like a nervous breakdown.
I mean, I always thought God, if they put me in something where they bury me, I'll freak out like Paula did.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, you put me on heights, I'm aware that we're gonna do stuff like that. If you have to eat, I'd be sad, but I'll do it. But if you're gonna lock me up in a small little, I don't trust them. I think they're gonna forget about us. They are that incapable at times.
I could see how they could forget about 40 people in a shipping container that is, that there's 150 cameras pointed at it.
I don't trust them. They didn't even use it. It was almost like they just wanted to torture us.
You know when the one time was that I really actually panicked on the show, and exactly what you're saying, that I thought they forgot about me? It was Final Reckoning when Devin was supposed to be my original partner, but he had, a loss so he in his family, so he had to leave. And then they brought Tony in as my partner. But the first challenge that we did, the way you discovered who your partner was, is they buried half the cast underground in coffins.
Yeah, that's a no.
And then the other half, they started up on this hill, and you had walkie-talkies. And then they had everyone run down, and then they had to basically, using walkie-talkies, find where their partner was and dig them out. Well, because I didn't have a partner yet, there was nobody to dig me out. So I'm listening. We're buried underground. I've got this breathing tube. I've got this breathing tube going up. And then I start hearing dirt getting dug out. So all I could think of in my head was what if somebody accidentally throws a shovel full of dirt into my tube?
And can you talk to production at all?
No. So I'm on the walkie-talkie, but no one's on the other end because I don't have a partner.
No.
So I'm hearing everyone cheering, pulling their people out of the ground, and then I start to hear trail off a little bit, and then I'm like, what if they forget, since I don't have a partner, all this fanfare that I'm underground?
How long were you under there?
30, 45 minutes.
Oh, was it hot?
And it wasn't hot. It was just kind of freaky when you realized it's like the coffin's this far away from you.
Yeah, and
and you go to push up on it, and there's so much dirt, you ain't moving that.
And you've seen where back in the day they found coffins that people would scratch out and stuff. So now they put a bell. So if they accidentally buried someone that wasn't actually dead, they just pull the bell. I will tell you, even that makes me feel panic. You talking about it.
Yeah.
If we were scuba diving and I just can't even communicate, you can see me. You can see I'm scared. But if I can't say,
you do with hand signals.
Yeah, but I want to be able to tell you with my words, hey, Johnny, I'm terrified. Just need to communicate. If I can't do that, if I can't release myself on somebody.
Yeah. If you can't release yourself on somebody. Yeah, that's
one of my
past life. Yeah, I have a difficult time when I can't release myself on somebody.
Yeah,
so what would you so what would be a more terrifying experience then? Waking up in a coffin or waking up
in a bus stop?
Next to Wes Bergman.
You're mean.
All right, so let's go down then some of the eliminations, some of the elimination rounds. First, we had Katie and Anissa versus Mark and Derek.
How great was that one?
Which one?
Both. Yeah.
I mean, Katie's scrappy.
I thought maybe Mark had said I want to go home at first because I know he wasn't really feeling it.
Yeah, well, he was sick too. You were saying
we both had Giardia.
Yeah, he had a tummy bacterial infection.
He had Giardia.
Giardia.
Yeah. Gross.
Is that what is that, Giardia?
Bacteria infection, and you get it from food or feces.
Feces? The
Yeah.
fuck were you guys eating?
Well, we were eating whatever you guys were eating. You probably still have it.
You know what I think
I
you
took
got
your
it from?
medicine.
I know what you got it from. The friggin' frog legs.
I ate that.
KellyAnne was the only one in the house. We get to Vietnam, we have catering, right? And it takes them a while to get dialed into like what we actually want to eat. We have this steamer tray full of frog legs, and everyone's like, hell no. It was an actual like leg.
You see his little toenails?
KellyAnne just comes over and grabs it and just like a chicken wing, just like rips it off the
Well,
bone.
I felt so bad that it was being killed, and yet we didn't eat it.
So you want to kill it again?
No, so I wanted to make sure that the
Oh, 'cause it didn't go
protein
to
was
waste.
going to be used. But
Got
then
it.
as I was eating its little thigh and calf, I was like, someone's looking for its family member right now.
Yeah. Or
It's
its leg.
It was just hopping around.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't taste good. They didn't overcooked it too, I think.
Yeah, I think that's so that might, I mean, I'm not going
I
to.
don't think Mark ate that. And I didn't get tested for Giardia. Mark had it. I was having stomach trouble. So I just got the medicine for Giardia. I didn't go and get tested. So I'm
Dude,
just
I
assuming.
was sick. I'm not going to lie. I was sick for probably the first week and a half we were there too. It takes you a while. We're in that country. It takes you a while to like, to
Well,
get
I'm
used to all that.
I'm sensitive. I'm very sensitive to food. I mean, people
Yeah.
always say they're like, "Oh, you complain." I'm like, "No, you don't understand my body. I still have heavy metal poisoning."
From listening to too much heavy metal?
Yeah, that was when I was dating Wes. No,
See? He's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, so I have a harder time with it's like an autoimmune disease. So I have a harder time, and doing challenges is very difficult on me. So
I have an autocorrect disease.
oh yeah,
Yeah, dude, my phone hates me because I sound so stupid a lot of times when I text because my phone always autocorrects to the wrong thing.
that's just your phone. My phone does that too.
Ducking. The amount of times I'm like, I hate this ducking place. And then I was like, sorry, guys. That's not what I was supposed to say. All right. Mark and Derek. Yeah, that was a surprise, obviously. But you got to give credit to Derek, too, because he did exactly the thing about
He's
pole wrestle.
amazing.
Thing about pole wrestle, balls in, is the bigger guy doesn't necessarily always win. Technique plays into it. Whereas hall brawl is the exact opposite.
Right.
Hall brawl, I don't
won't
give
do
a
hall brawl.
shit how technical you are, how agile you are. The bigger dude is going to win 100% of the time. I don't care what. You should have jumped over
Well,
him. You
Casey-
should have went lower. It's
Casey did beat Emily, and she was smaller than her.
not by much.
Yeah,
Not by
and that
much.
was what wore her around. So everyone's like watching the final, forgetting what she had just done. And she's like, I had just done hall brawl against Emily. That's why I was burning out
And
so hard.
even
in
though,
the-
yes, Emily, it was an athlete. We're talking about
Was,
Emily,
I mean,
Australian athlete. What I'm saying is
Olympic
swimming. I get
winning.
it. What I'm saying is
And she's-
swimming. I'm saying was like on the show,
yeah,
not like was
but she
before.
also is a lot bigger.
Bigger. But what I'm saying is if you, like Casey, plays flag football, understands, how to use your body, how to use leverage.
But Casey is quite small. So we're just saying though,
She's strong though.
she is strong, but her legs are like, they're like my size, maybe thinner.
Yeah.
She's thinner than me.
Like frog legs.
Yeah, similar to what I was eating.
Yeah. That's why the Theo Paulie elim.
I was impressed by it, honestly. By
I was
Paulie.
impressed that he actually did it.
Well, and that he actually picked him up and started pushing him back in.
Who?
Paulie.
Sort of.
I mean, he did though. I couldn't have made those gains on someone.
There
like
is
that.
a dude. I'll tell you what. Here's what I would have done. All right, you're going to the hall brawl against Theo. Cool. I would have lined up in the hall, and then as soon as TJ blows the horn, I would have done two things. I would have either ran outside of the hallway and hit the horn, or I would have just turned around and hit the buzzer for him.
Yeah.
Because if you think that I am going head first into a 6'6", 250-pound Olympian sprinter, not happening.
Not happening.
And if you saw, because I actually rewound it, Paulie gets hit so hard.
He had a concussion. He went to the doctor 3 times after.
Paulie gets hit so hard. If you watch it in slow motion, the second round, I think the first round was actually the more vicious hit, but the second one was just as bad. He's out. You see it in his eyes. I actually paused it when I watched it. After Theo hits him, Paulie is out.
I would never do that.
For a few seconds. Done. Cooked.
Why would you put your life at risk like that?
So I think with Paulie, here's the thing. I think Paulie, I think he has a lot of, confidence in his athletic abilities, but I also think he came on this season after coming back on USA and not lasting very long. Coming on this season, I think he had a lot to prove, and I think he had a lot that he wanted to, make amends for. Obviously, this whole rivalry between him and Theo, I think calling Theo out was pretty dumb, because.
But I guess Theo had already been saying he wanted him.
Still, you never, unless you're 100% going in, You never nominate yourself.
Oh, I agree. But I will say, thank God Paulie makes good TV.
He makes great TV.
He makes great TV. They need to keep asking him back because he does. And
he goes against the grain.
He does. I personally, I would not have done that. I would have not played. Maybe if I trusted the person to go sideways and let them win. But like, why are you setting me up to fail? Also, I'm the tiniest girl by far. I mean, I'm tinier than Nuri's. And I'm hypermobile.
You are hypermobile.
I'm hypermobile. So that's great for certain things like the wrestling. But if you're just going to say, hey, go straight on.
What else is being hypermobile good for?
I don't know. Mom.
KellyAnne came out of the birth canal like, pretzel.
I actually...
She came out in full, like, happy baby. Did you come out in happy baby pose?
Yeah. Apparently, I actually came out in the truck outside of the hospital, and I made a popping noise like a corkscrew when I flew out of my mom's vagina.
Wait.
And my dad caught me in a shirt.
Wait. This is a true story.
True story.
You were born outside of the hospital.
Outside the hospital. They were only like 5 or 10 minutes away, and I came so quickly. And I was like a week or two early, and she said it made like a corkscrew, like
a cork popping noise.
Yeah,
like a champagne bottle.
Like, yeah. Like, what's his face would have ducked because he didn't want to get his other eye.
Yeah, Theo.
Yeah,
you would have taken out Theo's eye.
The other eye with my whole baby body.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, my dad caught me in his shirt.
That is amazing. Did he save the shirt?
That's what I said. He said, no, it was all gross.
What? No.
My dad's not really sentimental.
No, he's not. No. I would have saved it.
Oh, well, you're a sweet person.
Do you know that Landon saved the tip of his finger after it got chopped off in the car door?
Oh.
Yeah.
What'd he do with it?
His mom put it in like a scrapbook or something. I remember him telling me that story. Yep.
Smashed it down like a flower.
Yeah. The little fingertip.
It's disgusting.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah, that's how I was born.
I was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck.
That makes sense to me.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone says that.
You are your own worst enemy.
Wait a minute. You're a middle child. You're a Cancer, Gemini cusp, and you were born with the umbilical cord wrapped around your neck. Got it.
I am not surprised you're a Gemini cusp.
Really? Why? What does that mean?
You just seem like a Gemini male.
Okay. Meaning,
well, we don't got time for all that.
Oh, yeah. That would be a lot. That would be a lot. We'll go into a third. You know what? Next time what we'll do, I'll sit on this, you sit on this chair, and I'll lay down.
And let's get into it.
We'll get into it.
I like that.
We'll get into it. We'll burn some sage or some.
Do a little ketamine therapy.
Yeah. Hey, now we're talking. Tony and Leroy. Okay, this is the thing that like I'm kind of annoys me about that situation is I'm obviously cheering for Leroy. Leroy is my dog. Leroy is my best friend. Leroy's the only person that has ever had my back 100% unequivocally. Have Tony and I mended the fence after vendettas and have we competed together? Absolutely. But if I've got to choose between one or the other, it's like I'm obviously going to root for Leroy. So the fact that he was like that bent out of shape, the fact that it was like, yes, I'm actively cheering for Leroy was kind of surprising to me that he was that surprised.
Especially after what he did to you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I think that seems a bit mental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like self-obsessed maybe.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not be more self-aware of what other people are thinking and like what they would be feeling towards your actions?
Did you have any doubt that Amanda was gonna lose?
No, no doubt.
No doubt.
No, but that
was a no doubter.
But I was actually really impressed by her.
I was too.
And the fact that she tricked Naya the way she had and got it past her, I thought that was really, really impressive. Really, really impressive. I would have been embarrassed if I was Naya. What
frustrates me beyond belief when it comes to Balls In is, and this is, I mean, the same thing. The only reason that Nani and I won Balls In when we did it on Ride or Dies is because people, and this is why Jenny lost to Tori in Hall Brawl. You want to be the lowest person. You don't want to tackle the other, especially if they're bigger. You can't tackle them up top.
That makes sense. Yeah, so that makes sense.
You have to go down and tackle them at the knees.
That makes sense. So it wasn't really Naya's easiest game then.
No, it was. It wasn't Amanda's easiest game, but had Amanda just gone down and wrapped up her legs.
But that's what I'm saying. And then it wouldn't have been her easiest.
Instead of trying to tackle her up top, that's never going to work. Same with Leroy. I'm watching Leroy trying to take down Tony.
Leroy can't get low enough though.
And I'm like, Leroy, you got to go lower than this guy. If whoever gets their shoulders lower is going to be able to win the leverage battle.
Naya's always interesting because she really is like if you watched her on like All Stars 3, like she can like zone in and she just is like in the game. There's nothing that can like distract her. And then there's other times where you're like, man, you just got her in such a silly little thing. But I think she would just kind of probably already assumed she had that one in the bag. So that she just like tricked her the first round.
Yeah.
But I mean, she is quite good too.
Yeah.
So
I think you would have done well with that.
I think that I had a better chance than Hall Brawl, but I would have preferred the wrestling.
Yeah. You would prefer the wrestling.
You know, I will say, like, I wish they would have shown me climbing up on that thing to undo her stupid, crazy big knot. Because if I didn't climb that, I couldn't have gotten that knot off. So I was like, man, I was excited. And I heard my ass looked really good. So I was hoping to see it.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't looking, but I heard.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, man, like I was hoping to see myself climb up there. And my tight ass before I left the game.
A good butt shot.
You know, but they didn't show it. But that's when I got back into the game, was when I was undoing those knots. Because it was the first part. I think ours is actually more strenuous physically.
It was.
Than anyone else's.
It lasted a lot longer.
It did. And you had to pull all those ropes. But that's when I started getting my head in the game. So I was like, oh, I fucking love doing this shit. But tying the knot part was so boring that I had already been mentally checked out. It was really hard for me I had to do well. If I'm not given like a spark of like, you can do well.
We were trying. I was trying to spark you up, dude. I was literally sitting there and you're like, oh my God, stop telling me and stop cheering me on.
No, you were like, KellyAnne, look at me. I'm like, I can't look at you.
I didn't say look at me.
That's what your tone was. It was like saying it over and over, whereas if I had to be like, what? Yeah, so that's why I was like, I can't do both.
Oh.
But honestly, it's really hard to get your head in the game when you're already out and then you had to tie knots. I wish we had to do something physical first and then the knots.
Do you think that there was any, because Cara and Paulie claim that the reason that she didn't do as well as she should have is because he's used to tying her up?
I think they just wanted to bring in their sex life.
Okay. So just because it's like, yeah, well, if you think about it, she's probably not actually untying herself.
She's like, I've been trained for 7 years now to absolutely never untie a knot.
Yeah.
I don't even untie my own shoes.
Yeah, if I was tied up to this thing, I would have won.
Yeah, and because I have cheap jewelry, you know, I just throw that shit away.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I mean, yeah. So if you're always, because a necklace is the hardest thing to untie.
It is really frustrating. I
those
throw it away
little
too.
tiny.
I'm always like, I'll get someone to do this, and I just.
Those are when you used to have the old like AirPod, or not AirPods, but the iPhone headphones. You put them in your pocket. 5 minutes later, it's like the most indestructible knot ever created.
I always think about Wes when it comes to those things because not sexy. Because his first loss in challenge history in elimination was against Giardia.
On the ruins.
Which I told him not to go against Giardia because he was a lot smaller and agile, and you want to go against someone like Dunbar who's in the same category, but you're going to be better at everything in general.
The dummy bear.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
You know, he didn't listen to me because his ego, but his loss. And so when he went against Giardia, it was a knots tying pretty much, up and down.
Yeah.
And obviously the people helping him on the other side was very helpful.
We all wanted Wes out of there.
No one was helping Wes. It was only me. He said afterwards, he was like, for like a year after, he'd have those stupid headphones and he was like, and I'd be in the gym and I'd just try to untie him as fast as possible. And I always think about how frustrated he must have been understanding what we go through after we lose something we're so close and we're doing so well.
Yeah.
And I always visualize him in a gym undoing those stupid headphones.
God, I was so happy to see him lose that.
You guys were all so thrilled. I was bummed, but I was okay. I was happy for Giardia though, because I mean,
well, I'll tell you what, after he left, there was a lot more Nutella in the house suddenly.
Yeah.
All right. So you then go in against Cara. This is the elimination that you wanted. You were stoked that your butt was looking fly. I mean, obviously you were feeling a little bit ill. How bummed were you after? I mean, were you sad after it was over?
They don't show it probably for the best. They had asked me in an interview. They were like, you were really rooting for Cara. Like I'd be like, at one point they were like, hey, switch places. We had some extended amount of time before we actually started from switching, drinking water. They were doing the camera stuff. So I'm sitting there looking at her puzzle, deciding how I'm going to like start it and do it. And she's looking at her puzzle and not my puzzle, just trying to see her work. And if I was my regular self where I wanted to be there, I would have just let her fucking screw herself over. But instead I looked at her and I go, Cara, what are you doing? Go look at my puzzle and figure out what you're going to do.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I gave her so many tips. And then even when I got that thing off, she stopped. I could see my peripheral vision. She stopped and she's just looking at me because I'm about to get through. And I had like 2 knots left and I was like, Cara, I'm not done. Keep going. I'm not done. I was going to try and I tried.
So you threw the elim.
I didn't try very hard to tie the knots.
Okay.
And I was helping Cara. It was almost like helping a kid play a game. Because at the time I was thinking Cara wanted to be there so badly.
I'm so disappointed in you.
I know. I'm disappointed in me. That's what I was most upset by. That's why I started crying right before, is that I was having...
I'm about to start crying right now.
I was so sick. I felt Like that was not an elimination that was going to make me feel like I really earned it.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I started to realize how actually physical it was, I started to get mad at myself that I did that. But she wanted to be there so bad. And I just couldn't, I don't know. This is where I'm not good and I need to get better at this if I do a game again, is that I just couldn't get myself in the game that moment.
Couldn't clock in.
I couldn't clock in. And I thought, my God, I get paid the same amount if I'm here now or in 5 weeks. And how am I going to beat all these beasts of women with these average men and be able to last more than 5 weeks? And my psychic got in my head because she was like,
oh, the psychic. That's right. I forgot about the psychic.
She's like, you're going to be there for 5 weeks. The show is like 3 months long. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to get paid the same amount and I'm going to torture myself and then I'm going to go home.
Do you use the same psychic for you and your dog, or do you have different?
2 different ones, and I'm no longer going to either because they were both wrong about.
Good, because I was going to say, like, what if your psychic gets confused and starts giving you dog psychic advice and vice versa?
Actually, I will say the psychic for the dog was very good with help me.
Like, you should never do it doggy style again. Like, wait a minute, who's that tip for?
That's fair. But I will say that the dog actually, she went through the psychic and told me that Max had something wrong with his tooth.
Max, your husband. I mean, your fiance.
Yeah. So he went and got checked. He had to get a root canal.
Stop.
Swear. And then we also, and Max was like, this is crazy because he didn't obviously believe this stuff.
Yeah.
And then when Haven was really sick a few years ago.
Haven's the dog.
Haven's my big dog.
The big, yeah.
And he was like, Ruby is the one that told the tooth. And he was like, you know what? I had a pancreatitis, all this stuff. And the first doctor was like, you had to go to a different doctor. So I took him to this doctor and they weren't doing what I had said to do. And so I was stressing, waiting for the doctor to respond, tell me what was wrong with him for like 2 days. And so I called the psychic doctor because I just couldn't wait to hear. And and luckily it was on speaker so Max could hear it because he would never believe me. And she's like, look, you have, he looks like there's a blockage, It's not cancer, it's this. And I'm like, okay. So then right, like maybe 20 minutes later, I got a call from the doctor. They said, you're right. It's not cancer. It's pancreatitis. There's a blockage. So the exact same thing that the psychic said. So anyways, that's what made me sold on that. But after this, both psychics were so wrong about this one, I just told myself maybe it's God telling me that I shouldn't be going to psychics and I need to just live my own life.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't think they're usually, I think you're only supposed to know what you're supposed to know. And I think I was knowing too much.
You start doing Reiki. Do you ever do Reiki?
My mom is certified in Reiki.
What? Mom, I need you to align my chakras.
Yeah. And then I had a shaman, he's passed now.
I'm all about Reiki.
I had a shaman that we would do peyote and do Reiki together with his big feathers.
Peyote and Reiki
together? Yeah, after my friend passed, that's what got me. It was one of the things that helped me really get through it.
God, that sounds like quite the combo.
People start coming up to me saying, you just have really balanced energy. And Johnny, have you ever seen people come up to me saying I have balanced energy? It was amazing.
I have a few fan questions.
Okay.
Leo Easton wants to know, who are you not happy to see on Challenge 40?
Oh, I was happy to see everyone.
What?
But I was not happy to see them on my team.
Okay, gotcha.
Like I wasn't happy to see Laurel and Cara and like, what's really, Emily. I mean, like I was so happy to be with them when I thought we were working together. But when I was going against them, I was like, this isn't who I want to be, like, going against. I was obviously not thrilled with John Nay at the time. We had
because of
our past.
Yep.
And, but we get along fine. I don't trust you in a game doesn't mean I had to dislike you.
Yeah. I feel like that about a lot of people too.
Yeah, it is weird though, because you're like, well, we were friends and there was no reason to act that way.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't benefit your game. It was a weird move. But no, generally speaking, I still like her company. So that was it. I mean, it'd be different if it was like there was Kayla there or something or Sylvia, but they weren't there. So I was fine.
Yeah. Joe Trejo wants to know, how hard is it to not bring all the animals home when they don't get adopted / rescued?
Well, it is really difficult. I went through a really long spurt of depression for a while getting into rescue because you can't help them all. And people think because you help that they should keep sending you stuff without offering help too. So they'll be like, hey, can you save this dog? And I'm like, hey, can you foster? And it's like, I can't pull out, $50,000 out of my asshole and then
you can't?
No, I haven't
learned how. That would be an impressive trick.
That would be impressive.
Yeah.
And I don't have people to help. So it's actually very heartbreaking to not be able to help, and I have to stop looking at it when I can't do more. And I would like people to stop messaging me if they're not willing to help me, because it's really frustrating. But yeah, it's hard.
I can only imagine.
It's hard.
I mean, I feel the same way, but I mean, and you probably feel this way too. There's probably like a lot of pathetic guys out there. Like, God, I just wish I could bring them all home.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Well, I will say, I do have a couple friends that say that they're like my rescues too. They're like, oh, you kind of took me under your wing. I'm like, oh, that's sweet.
Beanie Baby from Shy wants to know, why did you get your implants removed?
Okay. Well, because.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. Well, I had size C implants. Well, that's not the size. They were size C on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted B's. I always wanted B's. I just wanted enough to like, it would look cute in like a.
Fill up a champagne glass.
I wanted enough where you could wear like a certain kind of bikini top and no bra. And I went to C, and a C on me was quite large. A C on a lot of girls could look very nice and classy. And so I went to go get them smaller. And this asshole doctor, Dr. Chu.
Dr. Chu.
Yeah, Dr. Chu in Beverly Hills. Do not go to him.
Okay.
I should have sued him. I didn't know at the time you only have 1 year to sue. My lawyer actually was going to do it pro bono. I was like, I can't wait. But I was like 3 months past the 1 year mark in California.
Same thing happened in my Entourage lawsuit.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know. And at the time I was so distraught by what happened is that he actually went in and he changed it from saline to silicone and was going to he made more CCs, but he said it looked different. So I'm signing it thinking, okay, well, I signed it, so I have to do it. Like I can't, it's my fault. But anyways, he made me a size D. So for about 2 years, I was a size D. That's like bloodlines. I was a size D. And I would just cover him up.
I can't believe I sent you in.
You didn't send me in.
That's why I didn't.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. And so I would always cover him up so much. I just didn't want it to be like, I didn't want that. And so about 2 years in, after I found out I couldn't sue him, it was very upsetting. I really don't like that man. Probably need to make it more clear to the world. And I had them taken out to let them heal. I was going to just have them out for like 6 months. I thought I was going to look like my breasts were like cut off because I hadn't had real boobs since I was 20 years old. So, and now I'm like 30 or 31 years old. And so I took him out thinking it was going to be like a 4 to 6 month thing, let him heal and put size B in. And after I took him out, I realized I really liked being free. I felt more empowered to be myself. And I also noticed that when I would hug people, I didn't know it before until I took them out, but I liked having my heart chakra. I felt like I was connecting with them more.
Aww.
Yeah, it was different.
Well, why did you could have just kept one.
Yeah, I could have I gave them my implant. You can't keep them. You can't, because for some reason you could sell them on the black market, so I could only keep one. But that one I gave to Max when we started dating.
What?
Yeah.
Did he get it framed? What do you do with it?
Yeah, he just has it in the closet.
He should have made
probably just masturbates holding it.
He should have made a pillow out of it or something, you know?
But I will say I was surprised by how good my breasts looked after so long of having implants. I was really proud of myself. And I still was tempted, like, Mom, cover your ears. But like, sometimes I wish I still had big tits I could just slap across somebody's face, just, like empowered titties.
Yeah,
but, like confident tits.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy with just me and my body. And then about 6 months after I had decided to keep him out, I found out I had heavy metal poisoning. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'm putting anything back into my body. I'm thinking part of the reason. So
heavy metal causes power titties?
No.
No.
But
Opposite.
I am thinking that it's possible that with having breast implants, it's so close to all your lymphatic system that you can't properly detox.
Same with antiperspirant. That's why I shouldn't use antiperspirant.
And I never would.
Because of the
That's why
aluminum.
I always have a little bit of sweaty armpits.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Free the nipple.
Free the armpit.
Rachel Crivello wants to know, have you kept in touch with Evelyn, and would you have liked to see her on season 40?
I do keep in touch with Evelyn to an extent. And she's doing great. So busy.
She's a lawyer now.
Yeah. And
does she still have iguanas?
Or
geckos?
She doesn't.
Oh.
I don't believe so. We actually haven't talked about it, but I think that was after we went to Harvard. She had to stop doing that.
Because she was raising geckos in her closet.
She would sell them.
Yeah.
She's the most interesting person.
Yes.
If there's a lizard human, she's a lizard human. Now she's in politics, not coincidental, I don't think. But and her eyes were always very lizard-like, weren't they?
Yeah.
But smartest, most unique person I know. I miss her so much. But she did get asked for season 40. They even reached out to me to try to convince her to do it.
No way.
Yeah. She's too busy.
They should have reached out to Wes and said, hey, offer her a monster truck.
Yeah, that would have been it. Yeah.
She would have done it in a heartbeat.
She's too busy.
The last thing I want to clear up, so this is the other thing that just kind of like irked me on this season is okay, I understand coming into this, the Cara Laurel situation, and it's very fresh from All Stars and like whatever. It just so happened that Laurel and I won together. Our relationships, I feel like with Cara are completely different, okay?
Absolutely.
Laurel has her issues. What people don't understand is coming into season 40, I have not spoken to Cara in years.
Right.
So it's not, I don't feel like there's any bad blood, no animosity there. I just don't have, coming into this season, I just didn't have any sort of relationship with her. And I knew her coming in, I wasn't top 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 10 on her list. So the way I looked at it was everyone's like, oh, that was such a bad strategic move sending her in. In my view, I'm like, why would I throw in an Aviv? Who
she's very good.
She's good. She's a good competitor. She hasn't been on. She even told me, she goes, yo, I don't have anyone else. You'd be like my top guy.
Yeah.
Emily, who I've been friends with forever. Like
there wasn't a lot of options.
There wasn't. And that's my point is it's like, everyone's like, oh, it's a terrible strategic move. No, it wasn't. For me, that was the best move I could have made for my game.
Well, I'm wondering who, like people who are writing this, they're obviously Team Cara, but I'm wondering like, do they know anything at all? Like
not at all.
Not they must like that so they should look at themselves right now and recognize that they know nothing at all. Because truly Aviv is a very good competitor. She could do a lot of stuff. It's easier to carry a smaller woman. Like there's so many benefits to having Aviv there. There's so many benefits to having me there.
Yep.
Emily's very good too. Like all of us were really good. That was the whole point of why I was checked out. So like I'm so proud of Cara for the speech she did give and the way she did grow and the time she grew that space. I'm proud of her. That's a stride for her. She's made progress. That was good. But I do agree with you that she didn't have that conversation beforehand. There were opportunities. We were around
7
hanging
days.
out, for a week.
7 days. And that was my point when Paulie got all, bent out of shape. I'm like, dude, he's like, well, you were good with me. I'm like, that doesn't matter. I want to be good. If I'm good with somebody, it needs to come out of their mouth. Because if you vouch for them, then what they can have is the excuse that it's like, oh yeah, I threw you in because we never had a conversation. So my whole point was like, I say this every season on the challenge, I always question a person's timing. If somebody comes up to me when nothing's on the line, when their ass is not on the line, and they want to have a real talk, and they want to be like, hey, I want to work with you, I want to squash it, that goes a lot further with me than somebody that waits until their ass is already on the line.
Yeah, of course.
And then they're like, let's work together.
But I do believe that Cara is the kind of person, and I could be wrong, but I believe, and I could be wrong, that she would have kept her word if she made a commitment to you.
Over who though? Here's what I'm saying is regardless of what commitment she made to me. And that's the other thing. I knew Paulie was going against Theo. I knew he had not a good shot at coming back. Yes, I feel like as long as Paulie was there, maybe he would have, kind of been, because I'm cool, I'm good with him. And he made her keep her word. But once I felt like he was on the outs, I'm like, dude, like I can't take her at her word.
Right.
Because again, where I'm at on whatever her list of people is, I'm probably damn near the bottom. So why would I throw in an Aviv that I'm at the top of her list for somebody that I'm at the bottom of theirs?
Well, yeah, and again, there was just no other options. It'd be different if you had, I won't name names because it's rude, but I'm thinking of like a slew of people that were not very good at times. And if you decided out of vengeance to put in Cara over them, who could like be a total dud on the team, then like Casey during the Ruins time, not Casey during All-Stars time, then that would just be a bad game move. But you had a wonderful group of women to work with. Yeah. You didn't have to work with the one that had caused you grief and had never had a conversation with you. So as much as I adore Cara, I don't think that it makes sense for people to, one, believe they have any more knowledge than we do on our game moves. But for two, that
they always do. The fans always know. The fans always know.
I could do that challenge. Yeah. You're like, bitch, you can't do any of those things.
Yeah, right. Yeah, try doing it. Yeah, you could do it if there wasn't everything on the line.
And you also don't see half the stuff that's actually going on that we are doing. So you might be able to do part of what you think you could do, but the whole thing that we just did, probably don't even know what we just did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well said. What a great way to wrap it up. Well, KellyAnne, I just want to say I really appreciate you coming on after the raucous few days you had at your bachelorette party.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
I hope this was therapeutic.
Yeah.
Made your voice feel better.
Does it sound better?
You sound so much better.
Should we call my mom out?
You know what we should?
You should.
Yeah.
Mama!
Mom, come out here and say hi.
Really shy. She gets really shy.
Come on.
Really shy.
Oh, so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
We're so much alike. Look at this height difference. Here we are.
Oh, wow.
She's older now, so she's shrunk a little.
Wow.
Oh my God, thank you, Kelly.
Come
Just say hi.
on.
Just say hi.
Okay.
Mom, thanks for coming
Hey,
on the
hi.
podcast.
She
You
came
got-
from Texas.
I'm from Texas.
You came all the way out here for the podcast from Texas.
Yes. Well, I've always wanted to meet you.
Oh, she did say that, Banana. She goes, so I can meet Johnny? I said, and he gets to meet you.
Yeah, you get to, you know what? But you get to, you wanted to meet? I think this is a better time for us to meet rather than like a few years back when KellyAnne
Well, that was the
Didn't
reason
like
I
me.
wanted to meet you. Was because of a few years
Slap
back.
She's
some
about
sense
to
in-
punch you.
slapped some sense into me.
She actually wouldn't even watch the shows until like All Stars.
Don't worry, my mom still doesn't. She was like, "Wait a minute, when's your show premiering?"
It's
I'm like,
too
"Mom,
hard.
it's the season's halfway over."
As soon as on the Real World, as soon as I fell in the first episode, she got up and goes, I'm not watching this.
My parents do the same thing. They're like, "If we know you're not going to win, we're not even going to tune in."
I just don't. It's hard to watch.
It's hard to watch.
But it is impressive. The things you do, and then I hear afterwards what really was involved in some of these things. It's amazing to
Yeah.
me what y'all do.
Yeah, it's the fact that like the two of us are still here to tell the tale all these decades later.
I know.
We've spilled a lot of blood and a lot of mud for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
and we're
thanks
still
for
here to
having
tell
us.
the tale.
Yep.
Well, all right. Well, it was great having the two of you on.
Oh,
and
my
let me
goodness.
know about that wedding. I have to know in the next like week or two. If you
Okay,
come.
September 14th.
I'm gonna need a real
Only if your
RSVP.
mom saves the first dance for me. What's our song? What are we dancing to, Mom?
You tell me.
I
Kelly, what
haven't
are we
figured out our
dancing to?
music yet.
Oh, we haven't?
I
Okay.
did say, Kelly, is
I'm
there going to be
behind.
anybody I could dance with? I
Yes.
did say
She
that.
said
to her.
over 60.
Yeah,
Right
that
here.
part's
Yeah. I mean, emotionally, I'm under 20. So,
or that.
okay. Perfect.
Well, thanks for having us, Bananas.
Dude, you're the greatest. KellyAnne, for those who aren't already following you, where can the fans find you at?
Well, if you want to help with the dog stuff, you can go on my regular Instagram and click on it, but it's No Traditional Mother, all under slashes. And then my Instagram is at KellyAnne Judd. I do have a TikTok, but I don't use it enough.
You should get on Snapchat. It's
I had it like 10 years ago.
That's
Whenever
where all the
I
money's
started.
at.
Oh, I don't do it.
Snap it up. All right, Mom, where can they find you? Are you on social media?
No one can find me anywhere.
Ooh. All right. I love it. Elusive. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast where the tea flows like wine and my guests instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm Oprah, and I love you both.